Yo, what up guys? Rosie here. So today we'll be reading about what was the Great Depression again. So here we go. Telegraphs. A telegraph is a way of sending electric signals over a wire. In America, it was developed by Samuel Morse starting in 1837. Before the telegraph, it took days for news to get from one part of a country to another. With the telegraph, it was possible to send a message almost instantly. During the stock market boom, information about stock prices was sent from Wall Street all over America. It became a popular pastime for people to gather in the local stockbroker's office and watch the value of their stocks going up. October 29th, Black Tuesday, was the single worst day in the U.S. economy. It wasn't a positive. We've learned in English. But nobody understand what had happened. Famous bankers and businessmen kept telling the public that the worst was over. The economy was still strong and stable. They were wrong. Very wrong. After the crash, people began to discover what a fantasy they had been living in. Oh, my nose is itching. The stock market boom had been hiding the truth. Even during the most exciting time, only a small number of Americans had really been getting richer. The rest had just been spending more money. Two large groups had actually been getting poorer: unskilled factory workers and farmers. Nose is itching again, bruh. Now here we go. Many had believed in the idea that everyone could be rich. They spent money they didn't have buying things on installments. The gap between the rich and the poor was huge and getting bigger. By 1929, the few richest men in America were wealthier than all the farmers in the country put together. Factory workers plus farmers were never getting richer. The idea of ever better good times had seemed so real. In part, this was because there were so many things to buy. Assembly lines made it faster and easier than ever before to produce cheap appliances. Factories were turning out hundreds of radios, vacuum cleaners, washing machines, and especially automobiles. But there weren't enough people to buy them all. American companies were producing more than they could sell. After the crash, some millionaires did find themselves without a penny. But many had figured out what was going on in time. They saved at least some of their fortune. Those who suffered most were ordinary folks. Those who suffered most were ordinary folks who got carried away. People who had bought stock with borrowed money now discovered what a risk they had taken. The stocks were not worth anything, but they still had to pay back the loans. Lifestyles of the very rich. Not everyone became poor during the Depression. Barbara Hutton, the granddaughter of the founder of Woolworth's department stores, had her debutante Barbara Hutton, the granddaughter of the founder of Woolworth's department stores, had her debutante ball in 1930 at New York's Ritz-Carlton Hotel. It's debutante. I pronounced it right, you guys. So the hotel was decorated to look like a moonlit garden. It's more than moonlight, right? So the flowers alone were rumored to have cost $60,000. So Barbara wore a satin dress imported from Paris. Imported from Paris. Four orchestras played. 1,000 guests were served champagne, even though it was illegal because of prohibition. By the time she was 21 in 1933, Barbara Hutton was worth $50 was worth $50 million. Million. Chapter 3: The Banks Fail. Those people who had stayed out of the stock market now felt rewarded. They hadn't given in to greed. The silver money was still silver money was still safe in the bank. But alas, it wasn't. Oh my gosh! Oh dear, oh my gosh! The banks were in trouble too. During the boom years, banks had loaned a lot of money to customers who wanted to buy stocks. Now many people could not pay back the loans. Even worse, many banks had gambled on the stock market themselves and lost. Oh no. Banks do not keep most of the money deposited in them. They loan it out to companies who pay interest on it. This is how banks make a profit. But now, rumors were everywhere that the banks had lost all their money by making bad loans. Everyone was afraid that their bank was going to fail. So people rushed to take their money out before it was too late. Everyone wanted dollars that wasn't there.